Yo, what's up everyone? Abigori here today. I'm back here for another banger video. So, this video, um, I want to talk about something different for once, since everybody wants to complain to myself, oh, you trash talk AEW so much. Why don't we ever talk about WWE? So, since y'all complain so much, I'm gonna give y'all what y'all complain for, which is this video right here. So, today Um, I still want to make some marks mad because I know you clicked on this video for the title, which we're going to talk about in a sec, and that's basically what we do over here, man. We just make the marks mad and we tell the truth over here. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm going to be doing in this video is telling the truth. So let's get it. So this statement might be out of hand for some of y'all, but I really don't care. Think what you think, but it don't matter. So I'm just going to say this right now, and I'm going to back it up too. Out of all the eras we had in wrestling, Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era, PG Era, the new era right now, Renaissance Era, all this other stuff. Out of all the eras we had, NXT Black and Gold is the most overrated era of them all. The most overrated wrestling era of all time. Period. And here's why. So, NXT Black and Gold, people just remember for the quote unquote incredible wrestling that he had, with all these indie darlings that came in the business, signed by the one and only Triple H, aka Nose Man. And he was pushing these NXT darlings to the moon. Let him get all this shine at everything. Mind you, he was pushing the wrong guys at the time, but that's for a different topic. And as soon as they got to the main roster, probably like 70% of them have failed. Drastically failed. Because NXT Black and Gold, controlled by Triple H, which is a mark by the way, because he only just pushed small major jobbers. It was just simple as that. So let me tell you this right now. So, most of the wrestlers, that went there, that was in the NXT Black and Gold era, they went to the main roster and they were main roster flops. Main roster flop. And I'm gonna tell y'all some of the flops too. Let's start with Malachi Black or Aleister Black. So Aleister Black became NXT champion. And what did he do on the main roster? Absolutely nothing. That man was barely being used on the main roster, and it was to a point where he even requested to go back to NXT, but Vince turned that down. And that eventually forced him his way out of WWE. Although we all know that Aleister Black got released, but that's whatever. Shinsuke Nakamura. I mean, yeah, sure, he had moments at the beginning. He won the Royal Rumble. He challenged AJ Styles for the WWE title at Mania. But after that match, he was just never the same. The man turned heel, and he had a couple more matches with AJ Styles. He won the United States title a couple times, and the Intercontinental title a couple times, and some tag titles. And now this man's just a jobber, bro. Man's just a jobber. Man really hasn't been on TV since really since the beginning of this year, I guess. Samoa Joe. And this kind of hurts me to say Samoa Joe because, he was really a guy worth pushing. I personally believe that, he could have been Brock Lesnar for the Universal title, but, it's everything. I think injuries kind of messed him up too. So I think that's another reason why, he was really pushed like that. Because all ended up having him was him having a couple United States title reigns, and that was it, pretty much. And he went back to NXT, and then he got injured again, and he was sick, and then he went out of WWE. Andrade, what Andrade doing in the main roster? I mean, yeah, sure, he had a United States title reign, but that was just about it. And nobody really remembered the title reign, even though he had a title for like what, probably for like 5 months maybe, before he dropped the title to Apollo Crews. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, DIY. What are they doing now? I mean, yeah, I know they had the tag titles not too long ago, but what are they doing now? And plus, that tag team title reign meant nothing. They had the belts for under a month. For under a month. Before they dropped it to the bloodline. And they're now over, too. They barely even get pops. Like, come on, man. You can go to the shows and you just hear that they barely get pops. You know what I'm saying? But, the point I'm trying to get here is whenever Triple H pushes someone heavily in the NXT Black and Gold era, those people turn out to be flops. You wonder why? It was because of Vince, obviously, but we couldn't really blame Vince on that one because Vince knew who was a star and who wasn't a star. He knew that. So, he just pushed the guys that obviously were stars, and the people who weren't were just being in the 24/7 title division or just not being on TV at all. So, wrestling half and half on that because people just remember NXT Black and Gold for the wrestling stuff. NXT Black and Gold barely had any character development. People just turning heels left and right and all this other stuff. And the booking was just ridiculous too. That was sad. They was having 2 out of 3 Iron Man fall death matches and all this sort of stuff. Like, bro, anybody trying to watch that, man? Anybody trying to watch that all day, every day? This is AEW's style of booking right here. That's probably where Tony Khan got his booking from, but that's for another topic. But yeah, man, NXT Black and Gold, bro. The most overrated era in the wrestling history. It didn't really bring any credit or value to the main roster. And you guys remember Survivor Series when NXT got involved in 2019? It did absolutely nothing. Nothing for that show. And if you want to talk about some of the women that's been flops too, we could talk about the women too. We could talk about Shayna Baszler. What has Shayna Baszler already done now? She had NXT Women's title for well over a year, and she had some momentum going into WrestleMania, where she faced Becky Lynch for the title, but then she lost by a weak roll up, and she just kind of lost her momentum there. She was stuck in the tag team division for a long time, and now she's in a jobber faction called the Pure Fusion Collective. What type of name even is that? That's like some AI stuff right there, bro. But yeah, Ember Moon, aka Athena. Now, what has she done on the main roster? She hasn't done anything. Yeah, she became NXT Women's Champion, but she hasn't done anything. You know what I'm saying? And now she's over in ROH being the longest reigning ROH champion or women's champion. Good for her, but pretty sure nobody really cares because nobody really watches ROH anymore. Kairi Sane. She hasn't really done much either. And, this is for that too because I try to tell people this, like, you need way more than the wrestling to make it in the wrestling business. But people just don't listen. And that's what Kairi Sane is. And that's exactly what Io Sky is too. Yeah, Io Sky, aka the most overrated women's wrestler in WWE right now. Yeah, I say that. Yeah, I did. Get me all you want. Because what does she really have to offer besides her wrestling skills? It just shows that y'all don't really pay attention to anything. All this backflips and all this stuff, bro. Like none of that stuff matters. None of that stuff matters because that's the only thing that's going to entertain y'all, right? Because y'all care about his work rate, right? And that's the reason why NXT Black and Gold was so popular, right? No casual cared about that because it didn't bring enough value and sportsmanship that NXT needed. And this was for up and coming talent. This was a show that needs to be used for up and coming talent. And you using people like over 30 and 40 and closer to being 30 and all this other stuff, and then which is too bad for close over 30, but and then it's just people in the indies too. Like I said, up and coming talent. No, I get like those in the indies, they were still like kind of young and everything, but what they're doing now, when they're breaking in for like football athletes and all this other stuff, like gymnasts, all that stuff, to come in to wrestle, because that's what they basically did. Now they basically did that. People like Braun Breaker or Tiffany Stratton. You know, um, Tiffany Stratton. She was an Olympian, I believe. Or like she did like gymnastics before she became a wrestler. Braun Breaker, he was playing football before he became a wrestler, and they're stars now. Braun Breaker, even though he lost the IC title, still a star. And Tiffany Stratton about to become the women's champion soon. Miss Money in the Bank. And you wouldn't know why? Because it wasn't from Black and Gold. Because Black and Gold is literally the definition of not putting the other people over. And this is just for the other topic too, because what have you seen for the other wrestlers too? And what I mean by this is like people on the main roster, they'll also go back down to NXT whenever they're not being used properly too. Like Baron Corbin, he's back on NXT for a little while, and Apollo Crews and all those other people. So if it's just really for repackaging or just simply just build up new talent to see if they're ready for the main roster or not, why have they been doing that? Just getting people to train at the performance center, just do all this stuff. Because Black and Gold was ridiculous, bro. It really was ridiculous, and all the fans, people, all they needed to seem like Black and Gold was good was work rate. It was simply just work rate, and that's all y'all need now. It's just good wrestling skills. No character, no mic skills, no managers, so none of that. You see why Adam Cole didn't work out, and none of the undisputed jobbers. You see why they needed to work out, even though they had all the gold, but nobody really cared. You see why Keith Lee didn't work out. And Keith Lee, that was another person that was worth pushing. He could have been something big on the main roster too. But of course, he didn't like complaining and all that other stuff. So, they shipped him out of the company. And now he's over here tweeting to myself, oh, if I'm hearing this true, poor Walter, which is a tweet that will forever haunt him to this day. And now Gunther is the World Heavyweight Champion. So there you go, Mr. Keith Lee. So all this other stuff that Black and Gold had, didn't work out. Because Black and Gold was just full of indie guys. It wasn't for new talent. It was just for indie guys. And that's why Vince got rid of it. That's why he was shifted over to 2.0. No, our era is not going to last forever. No, like Golden Era, Ruthless Aggression Era, Attitude Era, that stuff is not going to last forever. This era is going to end pretty soon. An era's not going to last forever, y'all. Remember that. And for Black and Gold, You know, it lasted like what, like 9 years, because it got rebranded in 2012, and they told us, oh, it was at its peak in like 2016, 2017, and you see why some of those wrestlers was in NXT for like 4 or 5 years before they touched the main roster, because they was afraid that Vince's booking was going to mess them up. Because, like I said, Vince knew who was a star and who wasn't, and those guys that was in NXT Black and Gold was not stars, not at all. But yeah, man, that's all I gotta say about this, bro. Black and Gold, the most overrated era in the wrestling history. So comment down below what y'all think. What you think is the most overrated era in wrestling history? Yeah, man, I'll see y'all boys in the next video. Peace out.